if I hit this button, I believe we are live now. Hello, internet.
This is upsetting.
Hello. It is your favorite host, Sneaky Devil, and he has a Max Force with him today.
Looks like it's just us for now. I hadn't heard shit from Atin, so...
Maybe he has the coronavirus.
I feel like he would have updated us, if that was the case.
I mean, it's possible. Likely.
Like, he would have said something in, like, the Chucklefuck server or something.
That's right. I forgot to ping out. Rank and file. You dickweeds. It is time, my dudes. So, yeah, currently, remember last session of ours where we were inventing that massive World War AU?
Gonna have to help me.
Where World War One doesn't start because Franz Ferdinand was never assassinated because the assassin never went for a sandwich?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Is that something that was just you and Atin from, like, last week when I wasn't on the podcast last
No,
Friday?
no, like Tuesday.
I might have zoned out doing something.
Yeah, you did. You didn't talk for like the rest of the entire podcast, so.
No, I talked. I just didn't have much to say because you guys went shit I don't know anything about.
Anyway, yeah, so we talked about that, and then some people who were watching the podcast decided that that idea was pretty swell, and they've created a small Discord to record all the theories and possibilities that they could compile into a story for. So that's been neat. But you guys aren't here to hear about that. You're here to hear about shitty fan fiction, which is what I have
I do
for
expect to
you.
hear about the lawsuit when you demand that you get your 15% fee to split with Atin, and they refuse.
Probably. So you know what? You know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't done a Ruby Bloodborne fic in a while.
We did one just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
At least in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
couple weeks ago. That's a while.
I guess by the given definition of the word, yeah.
Weeks are time.
You're not wrong. Something that you're most certainly not used to.
Luna Contrium.
Hello.
Oh, he's here.
That showed up.
Oh, fuck off. I'm 4 minutes late.
Unacceptable. Burned at the stake.
Suck my dick. Had to get my laptop set up for work. Or rather, I had to get my work laptop set up for work. I would never use my personal laptop for work. Friendly safety PSA, kids. If anyone ever tells you that it's totally fine to do work on your home computers, they're lying to you, and you shouldn't.
Well, I mean, not only that, you shouldn't be using work computers or work phones or work anything generally to do anything not work related. And this isn't it's because it's work property shit. No, it's literally because the IT gets all of that. All of your credit card information, all of your passwords. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, the IT has to sign forms saying they won't use your social security number, credit card information, or passwords.
That don't mean shit, though.
But it's a piece of paper, and as we've all seen with the Geneva Conventions, pieces of paper are very easily ignored.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I have a perfect example of this in action. So it used to be the techs for my school system could change passwords for people.
Yeah.
If that was necessary, like, hey, I forgot my password, can you help me? Yeah, sure. You know why they lost that ability?
Mm-hmm.
Someone abused it.
Yeah, some jackoff abused it and started changing people's shit at random because it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Dude lost his job, of course, and ruined it for everyone.
Of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, there's a reason that every time you log into a work computer, it says, "Hey, logging in here, you consent to the fact that we get to look at everything that's done on this machine.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you're not cool with that, stop using the machine immediately."
Yeah.
Well, and as they point out that that is not actually as normal as you two think it is for work computers. You're told at orientation for some jobs.
Well, I mean, for any job that I've worked in the past several years that I've had to use a computer for, it's had that as an opening statement.
Yeah, like just at the log, it's become pretty common to just put that at the default login screen, so that way someone can't go, okay, yeah, they told me at orientation, but I've worked here for 30 years and I just started looking at, porn on my work laptop 5 years ago. I completely forgot about that. No, it's there every time, so they don't get that excuse.
Yeah.
You Yanks are on some next level shit, apparently. Because we don't have that down here in Georgia.
Oh, it's fucking everywhere up here. But
all over the place. But yeah, and by the way, that's the kind of thing where they go, yeah, by the way, if you choose to access work stuff over the work VPN on your personal laptop, we get to watch you the entire time you're on that VPN.
yeah.
So if you're like, I'm working, but you're, off looking at, I don't know, what was it that the senator got caught tweeting out? MILF porn? Wasn't that it?
MILF porn.
Yeah. So if you're off doing that, they can see. They know.
Yeah, man. And again, it's like they get to see all your shit, and this is something I never got, because I had fellow employees at some of the places I worked at who would be going on like Facebook and shit, and they would be like buying stuff from Amazon with their credit card information. I'm just like, like the IT crew gets all of this, right? Like all of it goes through them, and they have to mandatory check this shit out.
Yeah. If it pings a suspicious activity through the work servers, yes.
And by the way, suspicious activity counts as Amazon.com if you're not in the purchasing department.
Yep, pretty much.
And meanwhile, I'm sitting here with the next level thing of like, I'll just use my work laptop's hotspot function.
Big brain.
And, do my side job of transcription work there during my downtime because I need extra money.
Poor old Maxing. Alright, so this is a Ruby Bloodborne crossover called Luna Contrium Grant Us Eyes.
I believe that's Contritum.
Fuck you.
No.
By Zan, author of The Hunter's Nightmare. Humanity. Such a nebulous concept, is it not? No. It's a very well-defined concept.
It's a well-known concept. Philosopher, despite what some liberal grad students would have you believe, we've had 2,000 years of recorded history, for which 1,500 of it philosophers have been nailing this shit down. It's pretty well wrapped up.
No. There's a lot of debate what constitutes humanity, but it's all philosophical debate.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's what I mean. Like, the general idea, pretty well wrapped up.
It's like, nobody's gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, well maybe AI could be like human. It's like, okay, well, we don't have AI that is physically capable of being remotely human yet. So the definition of humanity is still just humans. Like that's philosophy shit
dogs,
that you sit there and ponder.
Cats, it's not dolphins, the rapey bastards.
Rapey bastards indeed. But anyway, so clearly this person is either in high school and they read a philosophy book once, or they just entered college and are currently in Philosophy 101. In spite of its ill-defined nature, no, it's quite defined, some cling to it like a babe to its mother, while others seek to cast it aside for power, progress, and ascendance. Okay, but you're contradicting your own statement, author. How can you cling to something if it's not defined? How can you cast it aside if it's not defined?
I'm just going to take this amorphous ball and yeet it. I'm not sure what the ball is or where it leads, but I'm yeeting it.
It's like, oh, well, I'm going to discard my humanity, but okay, well, what's your humanity? Oh, well, the human stuff. You can't discard something unless you know what you're discarding. Like, it'd be like if you cupped your hands and were like, yeah, I just discarded that air. It's like, okay, well, no, you didn't.
Congratulations! Get the fuck out.
No, you didn't.
By the way, I've just been listening to music lately. Why did no one tell me that Pokken Tournament had some of the best music I've heard in a while?
Because you've never asked me about Pokken despite knowing I own it.
Big up.
I started listening to it and I'm like, first of all,
Oh yeah, no, it's got some solid fucking music.
Why is the Magikarp Festival like one of the best fight themes I've heard in forever?
Because fuck you, Magikarp.
Like, I don't have a problem with Magikarp. I'm just like, you have like the coolest theme ever. It's a Magikarp Festival. Like, it's this nice hype song with some great bass and a cool drum line, and it's like, what's the title of this song? Magikarp Festival.
But is the power gained by progressing beyond humanity? Again, you can't progress beyond something you can't define.
You know what? I'll give 40K credit for that. That's why I like that 40K calls Space Marines transhuman. They are other human or beyond human, depending on which interpretation you subscribe to. They are still human, but they're not. They are a cut above. You know, and they handle all credit to them. The good Space Marine books, the good ones, the shit ones don't ever touch on this, but the good ones constantly have Space Marines wrestling with their actual humanity and how they relate to the people around them. Some of the most beloved Space Marine chapters are things like
Salamanders.
like Lionel Johnson's chapters, the Salamanders. And do you know why people love those chapters? Because they're cool people who give a shit.
Also, the Salamander's solution to everything is fire.
That too, the Imperium does love its Prometheum.
Gotta be honest, these sound like my kind of people.
Oh, no, Max. First of all, you would love Rogel Dorn. He was it Fortress Master Sneaky? Was that the title they gave him?
Fortress Master.
His entire thing was, I am going to build a wall. I will then build 3 additional walls which the enemy cannot breach.
As Rogel Dorn once said, the best offense is a good defense. Deploy the treads! Fortress raises off.
Rogel, it's the other way around. Continues constructing walls.
Alright.
Oh, but
Well,
no, there actually is a mobile fortress. It's literally a giant stone fortress with treads underneath it.
Oh god, that thing! Oh, Sneaky, what's that stupid big rolling CNC?
Fucking Christ, man. You're asking a lot out of me.
What is that stupid thing called? It's got a gun that's like the size of a city.
It's dumb. That's what it is.
It's the stupidest thing, and I love it.
As the old adage goes, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Because they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Anyway, so main characters are Ozpin, Team Ruby, the Hunter, and Plain Doll. Because of course, why not? It's been updating for about a year now. It stopped updating back in June, which is very sad. We're all very sad about that.
Yeah. Sad.
Mm-hmm. Um. Ruby and Bloodborne seem like a good mix because of the amount of content that is already crossed over, basically, between the Grim and the Beasts and the Hunters and Huntsmen, and the gods being dicks. But
Sneaky, the Leviathan. That's what this stupid thing is called.
of course it is. But the problem I find with 99.99% of Ruby crosses when it comes to Bloodborne is that they either try to do a fusion world where, like, all the Bloodborne stuff just exists simultaneously in Ruby, but it somehow is still just Ruby with Bloodborne stuff tacked on. Sort of like how when an indie company will add DLC. Okay, maybe not an indie company, like a AAA company will add some new story DLC, and you're like, oh wow, this would change the story of the main story a lot, except it doesn't change anything. That's basically what happens in a lot of Ruby Bloodborne crosses, where it's literally still just Ruby, except for some reason Bloodborne stuff is here, and that somehow has no impact on Ruby at all.
Ow.
The other problem I see when it comes to Bloodborne and Ruby crosses is if they try to do just a flat crossover, like the Hunter just ends up in Remnant. There's no real good power scaling comparative. And that's actually less Ruby's fault and more Rooster Teeth's fault, because they are very inconsistent on what exactly Aura can do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they can lift boulders and shit, and sometimes they can't, and sometimes they can basically fly, and sometimes they can't, and it's really just inconsistent as to what exactly Aura can make them do. Meanwhile,
and here's the problem, especially once you start adding semblances in, then it's like.
I mean, like,
this one turns you into flower petals. This one makes you move super fast. This one lets you summon dead people. This one lets you get punched and get stronger. That one lets you make shadow clones. What's that one do? Oh, that dude makes a normal clone. What's this one do? This dude makes 4 clones that play jazz instruments.
Jazz music stops.
No, Sneaky. Jazz music quintuples.
Jazz intensifies. That that was a cool concept of character.
Yeah, too bad he was a fucking one-off. And you know what? If she'd been less annoying, I think Roller Skate Girl could have been kind of cool. What? So how do you fight things? I make a rave. You what?
Well, I mean, the problem with Roller Skate Girl is I'm assuming neither of you have ever been roller skating.
I've been roller skating.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I've been roller skating and roller. First of all, roller blades would have been cooler.
But yeah.
Well, inline skating's just more fun.
But
roller skates are a pain in the ass.
It's really only good when you got pavement under you. If you've ever tried crossing grass in roller skates,
I feel we have all done that at some point, gentlemen.
Roller blades, roller skates, doesn't matter. It's damn near impossible.
And you're just like, wow, I hate existence right now.
The worst is when you get to the point where you have to stop and you're like, now I'm trying to do some kind of awkward waddle.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, but here's the thing: like, they can counteract that by like, the wheels spit ice out, so it's always super slick on grass or some dumb crap like that.
Or you could just not wear them.
Yeah, sneaky, but that's not cool. What's cool is looking like Iceman.
He's not wrong.
I mean, it's fair.
Why do you think everybody loves Todoroki? Because he's both Iceman and the Human Torch.
But no, I would have liked to see Cole, the jazz guy. I would have liked to see him in a
By the way, I
non-huntsman
want to
role.
point out, Rooster Teeth named their first black guy.
Yeah, I know. Rooster Teeth's, so far, Rooster Teeth's diversity has had a black jazz musician, a black thief, and a black murderer. Wow. Fucking wow, Rooster Teeth.
I mean, this was kind of cool.
Nobody said they weren't cool. They just said it was problematic, Max.
I'm just saying, for a company that seems to really
Was it Julian?
beat the diversity drum.
I was combining his first and last name.
That seems to really beat the diversity drum. They got some really unbased stereotypes in there. But enough about Rooster Teeth's racism. More about Cole. I would have liked to see him not be a huntsman. I would have liked to see him be introduced when the team goes out to eat at a restaurant or something. And I don't know if they do it in Georgia, but when I'm down in Florida, a very common thing at a fair amount of restaurants is they have someone playing the guitar, or they have a little band going and playing some music from originality.
It depends on the restaurant.
Yeah. Like there's something going on. They have some, original band booked, and they play a bit, and then a new band comes on and whatnot. That's what I would have liked to seen from Cole. It would have made use of his semblance in a way that is creative, clever, would have made him genuine money, and would make sense for why he's using a trumpet. And instead of just randomly using a trumpet as a weapon that doesn't actually damage people, but he's still supposed to be a huntsman.
Okay, I actually don't mind some of the goofy weapons that we get for huntsmen, but I was always bothered by the time it's like what was it? It complements a symbol, so I'm like, I feel like a Gatling gun borrowed from Coco complements that a lot better.
Max, we're trying to decrease the murder rate, not increase it.
What's that?
If he's gonna be a huntsman, I'm just saying, I'd rather him be equipped with a Gatling gun than a wall of sound. Like, that's his big thing. It's a wall of sound. And Yang brute forced her way through it, which means that a sufficiently large Grim will also just brute force its way through it.
Yeah.
As a huntsman, he's kind of useless.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what, I like the idea of Cole. I like the idea of his semblance. I like the creativity that goes into that. But I think they would have done more for the world of Ruby if they... And they would have answered the question of, do non-huntsmen have their aura unlocked? It would have done more to just give general information on the world, to have, him just be like some musician taking advantage of his semblance to make money. at a restaurant booking.
In which case, each of them better be equipped with a different instrument.
Yeah, see that then, and that would be cool too. You know.
Oh my gosh! If he'd split up into his own actual jazz quartet,
exactly. Like I'm saying, like now introducing Cole and his instant jazz band or some shit like that. And then he splits up into
that'd be great, right? Have an empty stage and then be like, now introducing Cole and his instantaneous jazz, right? Start out with a cool trumpet solo, and then, bam.
Yeah, and like the whole thing they had for Cole was him berating Weiss because his dad was a small-time businessman who got beat by the big company. Oh wow, we really needed that explained to us. Walmart's bad for mom and pops. Fucking no shit. So shocking and very progressive on Weiss's character, and that had literally zero impact on her character development. Literally was never talked about again, was never acknowledged again. She never changed, even a little bit. It did not exist as far as anything matters. So why not put him into a different position? You know?
Yeah. Like, again, everything about Cole was just handled wrong. Like, okay, let him keep his trumpet. Go with the whole it uses sonic blasts, but why don't you actually show it actually firing air bullets instead of just whatever the fuck it was?
Wah 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 wah. Vibe check.
Oh my god, it was literally just that one. Yeah, like it uses sonic blast. Those aren't blasts. That's just mildly annoying vibrato without a
It was literally just dubstep vibe check. It was dumb.
It's a shame too, because if his trumpet actually did fire like air projectiles, you know how much fun you could have with that?
Oh my god, that would be so amazing.
Mercury got to do that with his whatever the fuck is. Was that his semblance or his weapon? Did we ever get it?
It's his weapon because his dad took his semblance. Because, by the way, that is the most retarded semblance ever. The semblance to take other people's semblances.
Wait, hang on, wait. I'm sorry. His dad is one for all.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
When was this revealed?
Back when Mercury was first recruited by Cinder in the flashback.
I do not remember that. I don't remember there being anything about him losing his semblance.
Yeah. No, his dad took his semblance and was like, you can get it back when you beat me. Except Mercury beat him and his dad was like, fuck you. You're never getting your semblance back. And so then Mercury killed him.
When was this revealed?
During that flashback. And also season 5, when they were waiting in that waiting room with Salem before she did her window shattering scream.
I actually don't remember those scenes. I remember them stumbling on to Mercury with his house burning in the background.
Yeah, no, remember Tyrion was like egging them on? He was like, yo, come on. Give me a reason to kill you.
I still don't remember that ever being mentioned.
Oh, well. It was one of the few scenes we all agreed was actually pretty good.
No, I agreed what they did with Tyrion was good. That was one of those things like, oh wow, they actually managed to make Tyrion kind of interesting. I believe that was the season where we also were like, you know what, let's just root for the villains.
We're now rooting for the villains.
I remember
Max, that. Can I get you back to writing the story if we start helping Cinder?
No.
Damn it.
Also, Cinderfall is probably one of the weakest villains ever. We've already talked about her, though. Anyway, so this is the prologue called Apotheosis. Today, I died. I came to this city desperate for your cure to this maddening blight. To Yarnum, home of the famed blood menstruation. After the procedure, I woke up in a sick room, empty beds and scattered medical equipment surrounding me. Almost as soon as I got up, I was assaulted by some sort of beast. Naturally, woozy and unarmed as I was not but the juiciest of prey. The blood.
This guy's kind of a dumbass.
Hmm?
Oh, he says he was assaulted, but you have to literally open a door and go into the next room for that thing to be like, yo. And, like, actually, no, that's a couple rooms over.
Alright.
Oh, I'm already not happy with this story.
The agony of having my entrails torn from me and eaten before my very eyes. I fear that once the shock fades, I will be useless. After I died, I woke in a garden. These little creatures gave me some sort of sword, cane, a pistol, a book. This book, actually. I'm taking the time to organize my thoughts here. So I can. The rest of the page devolves into illegible scribbles and tear stains. Journal of Cadfan Lloyd, aka The Good Hunter, Volume 1, circa 0 motherfuckers. 10,000 years prior to the awakening. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Buckaroony. No book would last 10,000 years. I don't care how magical it is.
Maybe if you'd put it in a literal airtight container.
I want to see someone innocent like Ruby or the main character of the dungeon anime go to Yarnum. I actually have a story for you then. Give me...
There is a story that does that.
Give me one moment, and I shall deliver it upon you. Let's see here. I think it updated recently, too. Wait, who the fuck messaged me now?
I don't know.
Oh! Right! That guy. Hope of the Shield Hero.
What?
So there's this, AU-ish Shield, Rising the Shield Hero story I was reading. It's been... okay. There's been nothing outstanding about it. It's been okay. But in one of his most recent chapters, in the flashback section that he was doing, because his character was jailed and was being told a story by one of the other prisoners. For his flashbacks, he would do like enter scene. Scene setup is red and white, crashing in the background as the sound of waves plays. Like, he described the flashbacks as if it was like a play manuscript.
That's an odd choice.
And only the flashbacks. And it was just really awkward and weird. But that is not what I came here for. I came here for favorite stories. Jesus Christ. Blah, blah, blah. Sort by update. Oh, Come on, where the fuck is it? See, normally I would just say the name of it, but I don't fucking remember the name. Wait, what the what? It said sort by update date. Well, oh, you're on the last page. That would explain it.
Nice.
I told her to go to the next page, and it was like, oh, you want to go to the last fucking page? The fuck are you? Oh, maybe it's not favorited. Maybe I only have it under alerts. That would probably be smart to check that first. Yeah, here we go. It was under alerts. Is it too much to ask to be left alone? I'll just ping that at you, I guess, in the fiction server. And I'll also drop it in my Discord server for anyone who wishes to. What the fuck is wrong with it? Fanfiction. Okay, and I dropped it into the fanfiction section on the Discord server. It's not fantastic. It's not anything to write home about, but you know, it's okay. Pretty good. There is also a Shiro fic called Jagged Blade, in which when Shiro goes to sleep, he ends up in Yarnum during the day. In Yarnum. And then there is another fic called fucking something. It's a Harry Potter Bloodborne crossover where Harry Potter ends up in Yarnum as well. That one was surprisingly good. I was not, and then he ends up back in the Harry Potter verse. Every once in a while, like once he beats a certain number of bosses, the doll goes, "Oh, you can take a vacation from the dream once more," and he's allowed to reappear in the Hogwarts world for like a day or two, and then he has to go back to killing shit in Bloodborne. That's actually a pretty decent story as well. Anyway, in a garden of glowing white tulips under a moon of bright crimson of wait, what the fuck? Under a moon, the bright crimson of freshly shed blood. A battle came to a close. Cadfan's chest heaved as the gleaming silver rune-etched blade of his scythe, the vestige of his mentor's last lesson to him, tore through the torso of the creature before him. Okay, you know, I actually have to say, I think it would be a little bit cooler in Bloodborne if the only way to damage Flora was by using the burial scythe. But I understand why they didn't do that.
Yeah, no, that's dumb.
Here's the thing: if they'd made it if they made it, you know how like the Black Knight weapons just do bonus damage against demons?
Yeah.
Make it like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, bonus damage is fine.
Like, this is the thing meant to beat their shit in, so it does extra damage.
Flora, the moon presence, let out a mournful cry, reaching out to Cadfan almost plaintively as she fell to her spindly knees on the blood-stained hillock. The thin tendrils upon the Great One's head drooped and shriveled as Flora, of the moon in dream, breathed her last breaths. Sorrow in his eyes, the hunter took the hand of the rapidly fading creature. She did not want this. All she wanted was a child of her own. In spite of the fact that she was a creature entirely alien to him, Cadfan wept for her. He mourned that the fact that the minds of man, the minds of the cosmos were so far apart. He mourned the death of Flora, Ebertas, the newborn orphan of Kos, which had been the only way for man to escape the nightmare. But most of all, he mourned for his lost innocence, the coin he paid for his surviving the wasting sickness that he'd been born with. His parents had believed it would consign him to an early grave, and so when he had shown the aptitude for scholarly work, they leapt at the opportunity, driving him down the path of the book and pen with all the fervor of people possessed. It was only once the disease had progressed far enough that he couldn't leave his bed that his parents grew desperate enough to send him to Yarnum by carriage. The rest, as they say, was history. It had taken him countless deaths, but he had finally done it. The nightmare was over, fading, and leaving behind only the bitter hollowness in his chest. Wop wop. A hollowness that was growing, writhing within him, swallowing him from the inside. The good hunter clutched his chest and sank to his knees. Is this the price of my hubris, my selfishness? He rasped, clutching the haft of the scythe passed to him by his mentor, and dare he say friend? The familiar sound of ceramic feet on a cobblestone path shook the hunter from his mourning. Cadfan looked up through the silver mists that his body was giving off as parts of his flesh simply ceased. The plain doll, created in the likeness of one of Gurnum's disciples, the Lady Maria, knelt before Cadfan and took his hand in hers. Good hunter, she murmured. You've won. Flora has long gone from this plane, and the dream ends at long last. Cadfan, he grunted. My name is Cadfan.
That's a stupid fucking name.
Yeah, well, it's still better than Spy-Dar Poison Blood.
I like that that's a pretty consistent go-to for how not to go about naming characters.
Well, you know how it is. You know, Sanic the Head Hoog.
Names and titles are hard. Names and titles are very hard when writing.
Anyway, I apologize for not telling you before. Some of the stories I've read implied that names have power. The plain doll raised a hand to his cheek and cupped it. I forgive you, good hunter. No, Cadfan. Your fears may have been well founded. The dream may well give power to names. I know not, as I am but a doll. That's fair, actually. The plane, blah 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 blah. But at this time, Cadfan's lower body had vanished completely. And the encroaching body and the approaching blah 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 blah, and the encroaching void was now creeping up his torso. As his mortal form dissolved, he felt no agony. Instead, all he could feel was a distant, quiet sense of rapture and inevitability. Knowing his time...
This story's boring. I'm bored.
Pretty much. Alright, so, he's like, blah, 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 you're a doll, I'm sorry for treating you like a doll, instead I give you a name, your name is now Isolde, you are no longer a doll, you are Isolde. Blah, 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 blah. Blah blah blah. He turns into a small little thing. It's literally just canon shit here. Rumbling from above. Concern. Gasp. 7 graves. Diminutive form of blah blah. We must flee to the depths, messengers. Let's go. They grab the chalice and teleport out. Meanwhile, giant rocks fall upon the dream, and no one dies. This was the first tear shed by Luna, mourning the death of Flora. Memories of you began playing. Hopes and dreams intensify.
Oh, Jesus, stop.
What's wrong, Atin?
My soul is in enough pain from this garbage. I request the absolution of death.
We're getting to that. And then, dick long years later, this is the Emerald Forest. And, some, really skinny fast guy is in there. I wonder who he could be. And he's poking things. Oh, it's Bartholomew! No one saw that coming. Anyway, so he's going really deep into this somehow never before discovered rune right next to the school. Also, there's sometimes there's the occasional really murky liquid that's very, very suspicious looking. And so good old teacher here didn't step in them. Like a bright man. And so he's making his way through the rune, and Oobleck got grabbed by a creature. It's huge, massive creature, glowing blue.
Cool story.
It captured him, and let's see. Oh, okay. So then it brings him into a highly furnished room, and at the writing desk was a doll writing. It was a human-sized doll that was writing. To Oobleck's shock, the doll's head turned towards him smoothly, and regarded him before blinking ponderously. She set her quill down, rose from the chair, and smoothed the front of her dress before walking over to where he was cradled to a massive, emaciated hand by an equally large, equally spindly hand. "Hello," she said, her ceramic lips somehow moving as though they were speaking, though they were flesh, as when she spoke. The lattice was not expecting trespassers into his sanctum so soon. "My name is Isolde, caretaker of this place. We have things to discuss, visitor." Yeah, wow. If it wasn't for the fact that I am currently drinking alcohols, I probably would have fallen asleep trying to read this story. It's got a very boring hook. I mean, I will admit that it did give us a decent amount of information about what's going on. It didn't overload us, didn't slam it all at the same time. But it also didn't lure me in with anything. It was just, you know, they fought. They both took out their swords and they swung at each other, and then one of them lost their sword and died. That's very yeah. So it's that was the first chapter / prologue of that story. What would you grade the hook on that story, guys? Out of 10.
Can I give it like a -2?
Ow.
Yeah, give it maybe a 3.
I mean, the spag was okay. It's just it was long and it went nowhere.
Here's the problem. It took too long to get where it was going. It didn't do anything. And it didn't grab me in any way. And it's Oobleck of all people. Like, Oobleck has like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oobleck has a thermos that is also a flamethrower and a bat. Why don't we have that here? Because if this is him, is he supposed to be a student or a new teacher?
Who, the good hunter?
No, Oobleck.
Oobleck.
The way the conversation between him and Osmond go, I'm assuming it's Osmond, he's either a new teacher or he's a student. That wasn't made very clear. Because if he's a teacher, he's a fully trained huntsman, and he's very likely his thermos would have been out, regardless of what the doll looks like.
By the way, that may be my least favorite thing ever. What's his weapon? It's a thermos.
I just want to know where he keeps the coffee, or if the coffee acts as the fuel, in which case, why is he ingesting that?
I mean, that's an easy one, Max. Haven't you ever seen orcs?
We've been over this. No, I haven't. I've only heard the stories.
You don't want to deal with snow. You don't want to deal with that much snow, especially when you're running out of food.
Orc grog serves as both fuel, drink, and accelerant.
Warhammer's so weird.
Yes, it is.
Ain't no one saying otherwise.
Anyway, so that was Luna Correntium. Ooh, Okay, I'm having a little bit trouble hitting this X mark.
Have you actually been drinking that much?
Oh, I have been drinking the whole fucking time.
Oh my god, you need to stop that.
No, dude, you don't understand. I got called into work an hour early on Wednesday, so I was already like, fuck my life. And then Thursday happened, and we had a shit ton of work, more than we normally did. And so I was like, oh wow, really fuck my life. And then the bosses were like, hey, can you come in early again? And I was like, is this a voluntold sort of scenario? And they're like, yeah, you're being voluntold. You're coming in at 6:30. And I was like, oh, fucking Christ.
All right.
And then my insomnia was like, hey, you slept for 2 hours from 5 to 7 o'clock. You don't need a good 8-hour rest. What you need is 30 minutes of light sleeping. And then you're good for the rest of the day. And I shit you not. I even had one of my coworkers comment on it. I fell asleep standing up in the middle of running a bag.
I seen you do it.
Oh my god. Oh.
And one of my coworkers was like, yeah, you just like stopped moving for like a solid 10 or so minutes. I was like, yeah, I just straight shit fell asleep. Standing up.
You're already losing your abilities from college to do work for 3 days straight on one night of sleep.
Oh, dude, I fucking miss I miss having the health that would let me do that. But it's even better because we finished up the work today, and the supervisor was like, "Oh, well, we need one more job to get done, so we just need one person out of the 4 of you to do it." And I showed up the earliest of the 4, and the millennial was being cheeky, and she like puts her finger on her nose, and she's like, I don't want to do it, I'm tired. I'm like, oh, that sucks for you, bitch. I arrived an hour earlier than you. Peace.
What does she think putting her finger on her nose is gonna get her?
You know the not it, the last person.
Oh, that stupid thing.
Yeah, that thing you did with kids, with your brothers and sisters.
Not it. Do you know how long I've been here?
Literally, she is the youngest among us, and the 4 employees. One was a 54-year-old, one was a 42-year-old, then there's me at 26, and then there's her at 20. And it's like, you think the rest of us are really gonna play this game with you?
Little does she know that she is on the wrong side of the millennial line.
I constantly refer to her as child. Whenever she asks for me, I'm like, "What do you want, child?"
You are not that old.
I don't know. Sneaky and I easily have that personality type.
You are not that old, and you are not that competent, sir.
That is false, good sir.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Knowing
Yes.
Sneaky, he's competent enough in the workplace, but you're right, he's not really physically old enough.
No, but I act like I'm old enough.
That's not gonna stop him.
Anyway, so departing from both Bloodborne and Ruby, we are going to let's see what we got here.
We're gonna knock off an hour early, right?
Hell yeah, I gotta order a pizza.
Fallout Zootopia crossover! Yeah!
I feel like we covered one of these.
Nope. Nope, never done this before.
It's kind of fucking a weird sense of deja vu, and I don't know why, because...
Maybe you dreamed about covering this.
I don't think we've ever done this. I feel like I would remember something this stupid.
Yeah.
Probably not this story, but March 21st, 2016.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like right after the movie hit theaters.
Yeah.
Wait, have they still been updating? How did you find this garbage?
July 10th, 2019.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a Soldier's Calling, a Fallout Zootopia crossover by Alpha 001. Nate had lost more than anyone should ever lose. He lost everything. thanks to having gone through 3 whole wars, including one that had ended everything. Now, after everything, he will be forced off on his own world and into one that has no concept of war. They were truly saints compared to the man that
no
was about
concept
to
of
join
war.
them. No, so Nate is the Fallout 4 male protagonist. And he is being yeeted into Zootopia.
Okay. Here's the real question: is he going to keep his human body? Because
Maybe. But the real question here is how is he going to react to the massive racism going on? That's the real question. Hello, everyone. This is the first submission I have ever performed to this website. So please...
should have been the last. Should have been the last.
So please bear with me. I saw movie Zootopia and fell in love with it. Not just because of message it sent, but also because of the characters and world it created.
What message did it send? If you use chemical weapons to drive people crazy...
Don't put chemicals in the water that turn the frickin' frogs gay, I guess?
Don't put chemicals in the water that turn the frogs into murderers.
Oh, God. Anyway. Let's see. Delivering a message. And then, my devious little mind asked, say, these people don't seem to have a whole lot of downright evil in the world, except for the, shadow government cult where they brainwashed large swaths of people and killed everyone else. Except for all those bits. They don't seem to have a concept of war.
The actual shadow play is occurring.
Yeah. Sure.
You mean except for the government that's, plotting to start an interspecies war?
No, the government wasn't doing that. It was people in the government.
I'm sorry, the head of government.
No, the head of... It was his secretary, I'm pretty sure.
She actually ran things, though.
Yeah.
And,
with puppet governments.
So anyway, sure, you have the occasional radical that tries to corrupt and crash society to find out which race is superior, but that's not really the point here. The point here is that we got a penguin.
That's not really the point!
And in this story,
Jesus fucking Christ, kid.
We're the sole survivor of Vault 111. Boarded. This character is pretty much everything and did everything, and he's already established himself as a character. Cool. I'll fucking take another swig of this.
Sneaky. No. Stop. Do it.
My mouth can fit like 3 shots per swig.
Careful where you finish this sentence, lad.
3 shots per swig. So it's probably not a brilliant plan, but it is the best one I have right now. Also, please keep in mind there will be equipment in Nate's arsenal from mods, because Fallout is a Bethesda game, and everyone mods Fallout.
I'm sorry? It's not a proper crossover.
Thanks.
This is now a possible multi-cross.
Yes, pretty much. Fate is a fickle thing. Everyone can feel its pull dragging them one way or another. No, they can't. I can wholeheartedly countermand that right fucking now, in that a large majority of people have no fucking idea what they are doing.
Or what they're supposed to be doing.
So no, fate's not dragging them anywhere. It's dragging us down, maybe, but it ain't dragging them anywhere. Some follow the will of fate, and others find themselves regretting their decisions, questioning why fate chose such a destiny for them. Again, I don't know why he's getting so purple prosy over the fact that I don't even know. I'm not even sure what the facts are here of why this guy is getting so purple prosy. His fate was rigged from the start. Oh, I gotta fit that fucking Fallout New Vegas quote in there. Game was rigged from the start. Wowee. Blah 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 blah, stupid shit, backstory, lame ass crap. Chinese busting your door down. Red Menace, blah 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 blah, American Horde, blah 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 blah. Nate watched the end begin because of booms. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Canon garbage. Blah 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 blah.
It's a lot of blah blahs happening.
It's fucking literally just rewriting the cutscenes of Fallout 4.
Ah, of course.
You know, all like 2 of them. But yeah, now Harry and then the portal closes behind them, leaving them trapped and stranded on this place. And Harry goes, "We have to stick together because if we do that, we'll have a better chance of living." And the guy runs away from him, going, "I'm not going to be around criminals."
That's what you think.
Blah 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 blah. Canon. Cannon, 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 cannon. Canon mods, canon mods. Canon, 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 canon. Literally just the Fallout main story quest line canon. It's literally just doing a history timeline of it all.
That's so fascinating.
What's up?
Canon.
Just regurgitating canon, super fascinating, right?
It's literally
Sure, why not?
just Fallout 4 canon. Blah blah blah. Blah. And then Nate just blows his own kid's head off. And then he and the Brotherhood storm the building and blow up the Institute, forever preventing all of that technology that the Institute researched, such as basically infinite food, from ever being recovered. And once again, we save the day! Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Fate is such a fickle thing. Oh, wow. A whole fucking chapter dedicated to only retelling the entirety of Fallout 4. Okay. Oh, fucking Christ. I have to do this for 45 more minutes.
Yeah, you do.
Oh. That, where the fuck did all my vodka go? Okay. I think someone's drinking all my vodka.
You should find that bastard and beat him up.
I should. Alright, so that was just fucking painful, so why don't we come up with some fan fictions of our own right here and now, you know? Spice up the shit we normally do.
With, good.
Something we
you know what?
don't.
I'd actually like to see some Fire Emblem Fate crossovers.
Alright, let me just let's bring up this notepad here. So we got OG ideas, yo. Right, so we got a Fate. What kind of Fate though? Are we talking like Fate Stay Night, Zero, Apocrypha?
What do you think, Max?
Maybe just stay away from Apocrypha.
Oh, come on, Apocrypha's not that bad. But okay, yeah, you know what? We'll go with Zero. Zero had the least fucky Grail War.
Right, so Fate Zero and Fire Emblem. Which one?
You know? I mean, you know what? We're going for views here. We'll go with the most recent one. We'll go with Three Houses.
Alright, so is this going to be a crossover world or a fusion?
No. Good question. Good question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of each? Well, if we just do a crossover, we can just do the usual. The Throne of Heroes doesn't have to summon real heroes. If we do fusion, we can have people going like, "Oh shit, I summoned Dimitri. That dude's dope." And knowing who he is instead of going, "Who the fuck are you?"
Okay. Len, if you want to take some ideas, then, well, then how about it's a fusion world, but it's not your normal fusion world where everything's just mashed together. No.
Okay.
It's Fire Emblem, Three Houses, but replace the war between the three houses, or whatever the fuck's going on in that shit, with Surprise Grail War, and you summon the heroes from previous Fire Emblem games.
That's a good idea, except it wouldn't work in Three Houses because Three Houses was set in its own world. If we were gonna do a cool, actually a pretty cool fusion idea like that, we'd have to go with we'd pretty much have to go with Awakening. Because then they'd get access to 3 games? Yeah, 3 games worth of heroes. Or yeah, that's pretty much it. Still, actually a pretty cool idea.
Summon Fire Emblem Heroes or Fire Emblem Awakening Fusion World in which Grail War happens and Lamau. All right. So Max, you got a unrelated idea. No Fate Zero, no Fire Emblem. You got an idea for fanfic?
Just to read.
What would you like to see written?
Nothing, because it'll ruin whatever I like.
Imagine the author is good at writing whatever your idea is.
No, I haven't had any ideas recently.
Nothing that made you say, "Oh man, I wish there was something that blank and blank." Nothing.
No, I don't usually look at crossover stuff. It's very rare.
It doesn't have to be a crossover. Just anything in general. Just whatever section you want in general. Whatever
Sneaky, I'm telling you, Sneaky, the only thing there is the thing I'm working on that I've talked to you a couple times, the Gamer Shiro fic. But I'm already working on that myself when it strikes me.
Yeah, and to be fair, your competition is Woo! Let's just say your competition is already technically illegal.
Yeah, so no, I ain't got much of anything.
Alright, okay. Alright. Very well. Then I shall follow up then. With something. Alright. I've been on a Pokemon kick recently, but I really can't think of anything I would like to see out of Pokemon.
It getting yeeted into the stratosphere, possibly.
Have I watched any new series recently? Nothing that I'd like to see fanfiction of. Like, honestly, like, I've seen Demon Slayer, and I don't want to read a single bit of fanfiction of it. You know? Like, I don't want to see, hear, or even learn that fanfiction of it exists.
Because it can only ruin it for you.
It's so good. And the other thing is that there is, in Demon Slayer, a lot of things happen very for want of nail, I suppose. Like, because he does Y, X happens. Because X happens, he ends up at place Z. Because he ends up at place Z, he learns thing D. Because he learns thing D, he ends up here. He does this, he goes there. Like, if he had never shown up at the Spider Mountain mission, and if he had shown up at the Spider Mountain mission but not but more prepared than what he was in the series, he would have never learned that you're supposed to do constant breathing. Because it was only by him getting grievously hurt and having to do physical therapy to get back in shape that he learned that you're supposed to be doing constant breathing technique instead of only breathing when you're about to fight.
Constant breathing? What do you mean?
So, did you see Demon Slayer?
No.
Okay, you really should. It's
pretty good.
It's a very nice storyline, but it's animated by UFO Table, and they like to incorporate classical Japanese art style design, like the ones you would see on scrolls and shit, in how they depict the elements. They like to incorporate that into the attacks the characters use. So it's like the very crisp animation style that they used in Unlimited Blade Works, and then suddenly he'll like swing his sword, and it'll be the swirly water that you see in Japanese scroll art coming off his sword instead of like actual water, and it contrasts very nicely with the crisp anime behind it, and it's so nice. They did such an excellent job with it. But this isn't a spoiler at all. It's introduced very early. So Demon Slayer, as you can imagine, is a series about slaying demons.
Wait, don't tell me goblin slaying.
Exactly.
By the way, just throwing this out there. Demon Slayer, Goblin Slayer.
That would be an interesting meetup, yes.
A lot of things would die by the end.
Demon Slayer, Goblin Slayer, and Doom walk into a bar.
No, Sneaky, we need somebody... It can't be Doom, because Doom is Demon Slayer.
Doom is Demon Slayer Advanced.
Yeah. Like, if you were playing Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Doom guy is the prestige class.
But so anyway, so a story about slaying demons, and there's no superpowers in this story. No one has superpowers.
You just gotta nut up and fight them.
Basically, and how they do this is that there is elemental schools of sword play.
See?
So like, there is the water school of the flowing sword, in where you use your sword and you move and attack as if you were flowing water. And then there's the lightning school, where you make sharp, precise attacks at random angles. Or the fire school, where you attack quickly and then retreat, and then attack quickly and then retreat. And the poison school and the insect school, and basically they all have their various battle type. And how they go about using the forms that call upon these elemental slashes is breathing. They have to breathe a certain way and immerse themselves in the idea of their element.
Okay.
And throughout the first 80% of the series, the main character gets into a fight, tries to fight normally, goes, oh shit, I can't do this. I gotta use one of my techniques. Because, not all demons require these super advanced techniques. Some demons can actually just be slayed with a sword and stabbing them. And so he'll have a moment where he pauses and the world fades to black around him, and he takes a deep breath, and then the really gorgeous animation starts playing as he does some form and attack. But in one mission he gets heavily wounded, because he wasn't supposed to go to this mission. It was kind of like oh shit, something went wrong. Hey, can you guys go check out what's going on?
Hey, it's like when you have a B team and an A team in XCOM. Shit, A team got rocked. B team, can you try to wrap this up?
It's not even like that. It's sort of like two police officers. Police officer 1 reports something odd at this building, and then he's going inside, and then they don't hear anything back from him from then on. So they go, hey, police officer 2, can you go check to see what happened to police officer 1? That's the sort of thing that happened. Even though what they really needed was the SWAT to show up. But so they show up, he gets hurt real bad, and he ends up. And unlike every other anime ever, he actually needs to sit there for several weeks at this house doing physical recovery because he got his shit wrecked.
Aye, good job, numbnuts. You got your shit rocked. How you gonna fix yourself?
And during that time while he was there, one of the nurses goes, have you been practicing your breathing techniques? And he goes, oh, yes, I can do it for like 5 seconds now. And they're like, what do you mean 5 seconds? And he's like, what do you mean? What do I mean 5 seconds? Like, so you're not doing it all the time? He's like, we're supposed to do it all the time?
Wait, what?
Time out, hold up. What?
You know, that's like when I think one of my favorite things I ever heard on the Rooster Teeth podcast back before they got stupid was when Jeff was like, yeah, so I got like 3/4 of the way through Crackdown without realizing you could lock on.
You can lock on? Okay.
Wait, you didn't know that in Crackdown?
Mm-mm.
Are you...
I beat the game.
Max, I can't tell. Is he doing the bit or is he serious?
Oh, I'm serious.
Knowing him is serious.
Yeah, okay.
That
so then
explains
exactly
so
what you said.
much.
How did you beat the game?
Mechanics. No, he misses game mechanics all the fucking time.
That explains so much. That explains why Crackdown was so much harder than I thought it was.
Oh my god, you're Jeff.
That explains so much.
He's actually retarded.
But point being is that I don't want to see fan fiction of Demon Slayer because literally anything.
Here's the thing.
It's
like Goblin Slayer. They will do it wrong.
Well, no, because with Goblin Slayer doesn't really get power-ups in the same way Demon Slayer does, but there's also major defining moments of like genuine character development that occurs quite often.
Okay, so I was talking about the writing.
Okay, but I couldn't care about the writing, to be honest. Like, if you would go on my favorites page, there is some authors who have never even heard of what spelling and grammar is on my favorites page. But they wrote very funny stories, or they wrote very interesting stories.
No, Sneaky, I meant in terms of writing him the way he's supposed to be written.
Okay,
not talking about spelling and grammar.
I mean, I guess, but my point being is that with Goblin Slayer, you can make changes and go anywhere with them. But with Demon Slayer, like his entire character is heavily built upon the actions he takes and the consequences thereof. And any change to that would make wild divergences of his character that I don't want to read because I really like his character. And it's just one of those stories. Same thing for Dragon Maid. I mean, Dragon Maid's a lot more open to fan fiction in terms of malleability, but it's...
Now, there was a show that I gave a hard pass to.
Really? I loved it. It was adorable.
Didn't care.
It was adorable. It was disgustingly wholesome. But I don't look for fan fiction of that because it's, as I said, it's disgustingly wholesome. It's not something I want to be tarnished by fanfiction writers. But that brings us back down to the original topic of what kind of fanfiction would you like to see in your reading list, and I honestly can't think of one. I'm kind of actually with Max on this. It's just like I'm not really sure what I'm searching for at the moment. I have no real end goal. I have no real like, oh, I really want some of this right now. Sort of thing going on. I just don't see it. I'm not too invested in Naruto. I'm not too invested in Harry Potter anymore. I'm not invested in Pokemon anymore. So it's not like I have some sort of goal I want to see get accomplished via the abuse of the honey badger spawn system. A la Far Cry 5. If we keep throwing bait at him, eventually a honey badger will spawn. Oh look, a honey badger spawned. Oh man, the guard's dead. And we weren't spotted. And that's how this works. But, honestly, I honestly can't not invested in anything. I can't think of anything that I would really like to see. I guess a Pokemon fic that actually does a good betrayal, I suppose, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna find that. Definitely.
Fuck you, Max. But no, like the thing is that I can sort of get behind the whole betrayal of Ash thing. That they were kind of just mooching off Ash because they thought he would be, some sort of league champion, and he keeps making it to the league, but he keeps fucking it up right at the end.
Honestly, what if the betrayal? Here's a novel idea. The betrayal fic is sending him to getting him committed so that a psychologist can help fix his self-destructive tendencies.
That would be something. That would be something. All right.
They threw me in the hospital. They tried to say that I'm crazy. Ash, your self-destructive tendencies have to be stopped.
Ash, you're screaming at a wall again.
Ash gets a mop, some pieces of string, and some blue cloth, and puts it on a bucket and starts yelling at Misty about how she betrayed him.
Okay, actually, you know what? Now I've just got reminded of Digimon Season 4. And
okay, hold on a minute. I'm very confused.
Okay, why are you confused?
Continue.
All right, so I was reminded of Digimon. Did you ever see Digimon Season 4?
I don't know.
I barely saw Season 1.
Okay, so Digimon Season 1 through 3 set up the rules and how the Digimon universe generally operates.
Yeah.
Season 4, however, seemingly threw all of that out the window. Seemingly. There are, however, moments every few episodes where certain things, if you're paying attention and not a child, certain things seem very off, very odd, very lampshady. And eventually, one of the Digimon that they're fighting says something, and then all the main characters start really pondering this themselves. Why are they able to digivolve? And it leads up until I think it was around the end of Season 4, in that the show just... By the way, this is a show for kids. The show just straight shit goes. Yeah, the reason why these kids can all digivolve is because they all died before the season started. In the movie accident that dropped a nuke on Japan. Yeah, the Digimon series is fucking dark, my dude. Like, straight up, one of the Digimon movies was about a Digimon becoming basically a sentient virus and replicating super quick across digital devices using various worm tactics like, hey, you've won blank, open this email and figure out how to get your prize, sort of thing, and shit like that.
Okay, and what did these kids have to do with it?
They unleashed it accidentally when they were exploring the digital world, and eventually it hacked into a military base and launched a nuke at where the kids lived in the city because the kids were trying to stop it. And holy shit, it got fucking dark fast. But so the entire main cast in season 4 was dead, and that's why a lot of the rules that existed in 1 through 3 didn't apply in season 4. It's because the main cast in season 4 were effectively Digimon themselves. They were just digital data. They were ghosts in the machine.
Christ, I need you to stop talking.
But yeah, so anyway, that's Digimon, and that got me thinking of a Pokemon fanfic I would like to see. That Pokemon fanfic being a sort of like Revenant Ash sort of thing, because we already know that sort of shit's a thing in the Pokemon verse, where human souls can linger around and infuse themselves into various objects and become Pokemon themselves. But I'm talking more about, like, Ash dies at some point, and maybe the reason why he never ages is because he's a fucking ghost, right? Who, upon winning the championship of a league finally, can finally rest in peace. And so there he is, at the end of this story.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to do that, you need to make all of the psychic type gym leaders and trainers go, there is something fucking off here.
You gotta be super fucking subtle throughout the story. Like, everyone's eating. Oh, Ash, are you hungry? Oh, no, I think I'll eat a little bit later. Okay.
Yeah, or like whenever he fights the psychic type, make it so that he never loses to a psychic type trainer, and they always go, I was just distracted by something during the fight. I couldn't concentrate.
There was something off about him, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's able to communicate better with Pokemon and shit like that, and like just low. And then final chapter, Ash is there. He's won the league finally, and he's awarded the trophy or whatever. And then he just slowly disintegrates into motes of energy and disappears. And everyone's like, "What?"
No, and no, Sneaky. You should end it with like the trophy smacking the ground.
Yeah. And yeah. See, that would be a Pokemon story I would like to see. Because I feel like it would be a little bit interesting.
Wouldn't be bad.
So I'll add that to the list of OG ideas, yo. Pokemon fic, Ash dead, son. Ash dead, son. Ash is dead, son.
All right, well, you know what? We got 20 minutes left. This seems like a great place to wrap up the fucking night.
But we never found your desire to Fire Emblem Fate.
What? Well,
No, like,
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna search
listen,
for it.
like, I would just do a crossover with 3 houses and heroes and just put the action, like, I would rule it that only people with crests can get summoned. Because they have the blood of heroes in them.
Oh, there's your homework for Tuesday, then.
Or not heroes, as
OG idea from Zeexels. Grail War, where everyone is OP, and instead the summoned servants are wimped and freaked out by this.
Yeah, okay, like, I get what you're saying. We're just gonna be like, alright, all the masters are level 20 wizards.
Oh, I was gonna say you would have to because this is obviously a shit post. You would have to go like full throttle with this, like make it some sort of mega crossover, fusionish world. It's never really defined, but for some reason all these characters are there. So it's like post Ranma 1/2 Ranma's there. Fucking Superman for some reasons mixed in this.
Alright, listen, if we're gonna do that, we're gonna need to throw in Domon Kashu from G Gundam.
Sure. I don't know him, but sure.
Listen, actually, no, you know what? I'm sorry. It should be Master Asia. Sneaky. That man is so overpowered, he beat up Gundams. With
single-handedly.
Awesome.
Like, as in, like, 5v1.
Oh,
by the way, not in a robot!
Yeah, I love it. Boom. He's in there now, too. But yeah, so they all summon their servants, and the servants are like, "Get back, master! It's dangerous." And then they go to attack one of the other masters and just get the fucking shit rocked. And then the master of that servant's like, "Oh, so you are a martial artist too? Let us fight!"
Oh my god! No, I can see it now. Like, Ranma gets Saber, and Master Asia gets Archer, and it's like, Master, look out! Sabers are extremely dangerous at close range. Gets fucking, like, judo thrown and stomped into the ground. I see! So you're a martial artist! I am the undefeated of the East!
Fucking, Roni Kenshin shows up.
Sneaky.
Fucking
You definitely need to have servants that know each other, so that when they get paired up, it's like, have, like, Saber, like, go over to Archer and be like, why did I just get my shit rocked? I don't know. I didn't know my master was so strong. I mean, my master's keeping up with them. I can't even follow their movement. Wait a minute, why can I not follow their movements?
I can't follow their movements. I can't follow their movements.
Oh boy.
Max, you want this too.
Kind of, but at the same time I know it's gonna be fucked up.
Of course it is. But come on, you can't tell me you don't want Master Asia to fucking style on Gilgamesh.
Oh god,
oh my god,
be good.
Max,
that
just him. By the way, Sneaky, he can totally dodge whatever Gilgamesh does because he does in fact dodge a laser.
Oh, excellent. Oh, of course, if we're talking about OP characters, Hokage Naruto has to be one of them.
Yup. Oh, Sneaky, Max, I really want Master Asia versus Hokage Naruto. The man who punches Gundams to death versus the man with infinite clones.
Fucking assassin tries to kill Naruto, it's a clone. Tries to stab another Naruto, still a clone.
Yeah, 100 Face. Yeah, Naruto's a great counter pick against 100 Face Hassan.
Oh, poor 100 Hassan.
Biggest jab.
I am Hassan of the 100 Faces. Oh, cool. I'm Naruto. Poof. Of the 100,000 clones.
Of the 100,000
clones. The what?
That's just on a bad day.
No, be like, yeah, this. Oh my gosh, it has to be in the modern Earth. That Naruto goes, yeah, the nature chakra here is kind of shitty. I can't really get to my full power here.
Oh boy.
Oh, but yeah, no, like you can actually do some genuinely good parody with that.
You know what, Sneaky? Put that one down.
All right.
Fate Grand Overpowered or some shit like that.
There. Yeah. All right. I think we were very
Fate martial artist. Yes. Yes, I love it.
Alright.
I love it.
servants get dabbed on.
Just gotta be careful what servants are picked.
What do you mean?
Well, you said Master Age versus Gilgamesh, but the problem is that Gilgamesh has his quantity is his quality.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are some servants that are like, oh, let's have him go against First Hassan. Well, that's a problem because even if he gave up his Grand Servant status, he's still the concept of death itself.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, and the ones who have, like, we wouldn't want chick with the hanging gardens.
Yeah,
Oh.
Semiramis would be a bad
Yeah.
choice.
But
Like,
as long as it was people like Arthur, like you could even throw in people like Scathach.
yeah, no, you could have Skathic, you could have Ku, you could have
Oh my
both
god,
versions of
Naruto would be a hilarious counter to Scathach.
Fucking.
This spear will always pierce its target. Makes clone, puts clone in front of spear.
Yeah, basically. Fucking.
Oh yeah, it pierced the clone real good.
Who would be Berserker? Hercules again? I feel like Hercules is probably one of the best Berserkers, to be honest.
I mean, you're not wrong,
one of
but, like,
Hercules is probably the best in terms of lore.
I feel like we could do better though.
No, I mean like in
Yeah, in terms
Hercules
of
is
lore,
one of the
I
Berserkers
honestly
you
think
probably
he would
don't
be.
want.
Yeah.
Or he's one of the Berserkers that's like,
Oh.
oh, this is a Gilgamesh problem.
No, you know what? There we go. Fucking Kratos is a master, and Hercules is his Berserk summon.
You know what? I will allow this.
Yes.
Okay, can we make it Dad Kratos from the PS4 game?
That's the only Kratos that exists anymore.
Isn't Dad Kratos like post all the other Kratoses?
Yes.
Yes. So he can look at Hercules and be like, oh god, I used to be like that, didn't I?
Looks at Berserker. Oh Jesus Christ! Why am I reminded? Why was I such an edgy teenager?
Is this how people viewed me?
Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. So who's Saber? Who do we pick for Saber?
Oh.
Because I'll be honest, I don't want to pick Artoria. Artoria is a basic fucking boring bitch.
I feel like Musashi would be fun to throw in there.
Yeah. Yep.
She doesn't get a lot of love outside of Fate Grand Order.
That's true.
Nero literally has like.
Boy, you are not prepared.
I was gonna say Nero could be fun. Mordred hates to lose, so she could be fun because she'd be like, "God damn it, why can't I beat
Perfect. Ranma summons Mordred.
Oh boy!
It is.
Oh my god!
It is the god tier of combos.
Sneaky team gender issues.
Team gender issues.
Okay.
Write that down.
I'm a man, damn it! Yes, so am I.
Okay, so since we have Master Asia here, he needs to have either Lancer or Assassin, but whichever one it is, it has to be that version of Li Shuwen. Because even though he has a weapon, he's like, nah, fuck this. Fists.
You're right.
I'm a martial artist through and through.
You're right.
Doesn't matter if it's the Lancer version or the Assassin version. Just
no, we could also pick that damn caster. Does the 5 Mountain Buddha Palm?
Swanzang. Actually, you know what? That might be an interesting dichotomy.
Gender confusion.
She's so innocent.
Yeah, which is why Master Asia would be great.
It's like,
Okay.
oh god,
wait,
it's like I'm
wait,
dealing
wait,
with
Max.
it's
Max,
like I'm
is
dealing with someone as a kid again.
is this crazy Asia or is this sane Asia? There's a big difference.
I'm gonna say sane Asia because he only went crazy for a short time, technically.
That's fair. So okay, so we'll go with sane old man Asia.
Oh my god, I'm just sitting here just thinking of the fucking combo of Mordred and Ranma. Ranma's just like, Ranma Satome never loses. Fucking Mordred's like, Servant Saber is here to win.
Those two, oh, it's gonna be interesting.
They would absolutely feed into each other.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yes, in the worst way.
I'll be back in a bit.
In the absolute worst way. All right.
Alright, so we got Old Sane. Did you guys figure out who he summons?
Yeah, it's gonna be one of the martial art. Like, you can probably just put martial arts servant in there.
So would that be Lancer or Caster?
Damn, I personally, I would just say the caster. I gotta remember her fucking name. Hold on.
Fucking Zeke. Joke about how Ranma is the Lady of the Lake since he turns into a lady if he's thrown in one.
Yes!
Throwing swords at people is not a way of government.
What if you're throwing a woman into it? Zhuangjiang. Hold on, let me send it to you.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm
just gonna post this. Just gonna post it in in fanfiction.
All right. Jesus, fuck that name.
Okay, but Sneaky, it's a hot titty caster who does martial arts.
All right, so caster. It's still.
I was gonna say, Zeeks, you get massive. We will have to use that joke, and we will give you credit for it.
Oh god.
It'd be even better if we said, "Oh, sneaky. What if we set this in instead of Fate 0, we set it in Fate oh shit, what the fuck is the one that came after it? Well, technically it was before it, but
Fate Stay Night?
Yeah, set it in Fate Stay Night so that make it so that Avalon's scabbard got lost in a lake, so she pulls up Avalon. Since we're just shitposting with Lady of the Lake.
Oh god. Well, I mean, if we want to really shitpost that, we can just have Ranma be instead of drowned girl, she can be drowned Lady of Lake.
I mean, yeah. As long as it doesn't fundamentally change the joke about Ranma.
No, it pretty much wouldn't, because he would still turn into a girl. He would, still,
Still have all the things happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So we've got Saber, we've got Berserker. All right, Sneaky. Who do we summon for Archer?
Well, that really depends on who the martial artist is doing the summoning.
You're right. We need to nail down, what is it? 4 more martial artists?
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, hold on. You gotta put in Naruto.
Oh, right, Naruto, right. Hokage Naruto.
All right. You know what? Let's figure it out. Who is Hokage Naruto gonna get?
Well, let's see. We got Saber, Berserker, and Caster, which leaves Rider. Naruto obviously has to summon Assassin. I mean, as funny as the joke would be of Hassan stabbing him and him being just another clone, it's like too thematic. We've been too thematic so far, with Ranma summoning Mordred, Dados summoning Berserker Hercules.
Yeah.
Naruto has to summon Assassin.
You're right. Now here's the question: do we want an assassin who do we want a foil, or do we want someone who's going to feed into him?
He doesn't need anyone to feed into him, so I would say foil would be better.
No. But I mean, in like Dados is having Hercules for irony.
That's what I'm saying. Is Hokage Naruto is at the point in character development that he is not regretting his past, but he also isn't going to be spurred on.
All right.
Right. All right. So we decided that Hokage Naruto is going to get Assassin. We gave Master Asia Shunsang.
Okay.
So I'm pulling up the assassin list.
Good match for Naruto.
What we were thinking of is having him be a foil.
We could give him one of the ninja assassins.
Assassin Emiya?
We could give him. We give the servant version of Kiritsugu. There is Danzo, the Robo Mother. There's Kotaro.
Wait, Danzo.
Well, I was gonna say if we're looking for, looking for, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, Danzo, there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking up. Yeah. Hold on.
Best Robo Mom.
I approve. Let's do this. It'll be great. We can make so many fucking Danzo jokes. Nobody would get them besides Naruto, which he would find hilarious.
Naruto will be making the Danzo jokes.
Of course.
But for a good foil for assassins, let me think.
I was gonna say
I'm gonna have to look at the list myself now.
I was gonna say for good foils, like I do feel like Emiya would be a good choice.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna agree that Emiya is a good. Kiritsugu's a decent choice. We can do Danzo for the jokes, and because she's also a legitimately really fun character.
Mm-hmm.
We could do the assassin of Shinjuku because he's a fucking troll.
Wait, who the hell is the assassin of Shinjuku?
You need to play through the Shinjuku.
I'm playing through it right now.
You'll see what he's like then.
Jesus Christ! Because here's the thing, right? I've run into Archer.
Yeah.
And I've run into Ryder, and I've got Angry Girl working for me.
Yeah. So as fun as it might be to have First Hassan be the assassin for Naruto, there's not really much play we can do between those two. That would make sense with First Hassan's personality. But I think having him hang out with Sasaki Kojiro would be kind of entertaining.
Sasaki Kojiro. Oh, him!
Yeah, the fake assassin that really should have just been a saber.
I feel like that would also very much fit Naruto because he was very much a brawler that was a fake assassin as well.
That's true.
Yeah, well, that and they're also both incredibly laid back.
Technically, I'm a ninja. What do you mean by technically? Well, my least subtle attack is a giant glowing ball of explosion.
Oh, dude, that's great. I'm supposed to be a saber. That's why I'm so shit. This is not what I'm supposed to do.
To be fair, that was mostly Medea's fault
I'm not saying it
fucking
isn't. I'm just saying.
Sasaki Kojiro.
Of the assassins I'm at least familiar with, I think those are the three that would work best. Emiya Assassin, Danzo, or Sasaki. One of those three I think would work best.
I was gonna say, honestly,
unless you want to have him make fun of the NEET.
Oh, but wait, Sneaky, what if we did Gray? Or Max Gray?
Grey Wolf? No.
No.
That, maybe, but I'm not sure about that one. Wait, is she an assassin? I thought she was a lancer.
Nope. There's a 4-star There's a 4-star assassin of her. She's an event.
Oh, I know she's an event. I thought she was a lancer welfare for some reason. Huh.
Wow, fucking Emiya Assassin looks depressing as fuck.
It's because he is depressed.
Okay, Sneaky. Assassin Emiya. Assassin Emiya is from a world where heroic spirits ran rampant and did whatever they wanted to, and he dedicated himself as a normal human to murdering the fuck out of them.
By agreeing to a
Counter Guardian
with the counter force. So, and as a result, he never actually got to meet and marry Irisville, and thus never had Ilya.
By the way, he got so good at murdering people that Gilgamesh was like, "Hey, not bad."
I need to read the event stuff for that. There should be a real
Jesus Christ, I'm looking at his bonds and I'm feeling terrible for him.
Yeah.
Oh, his bond oh god, yes.
Do you want to know what his White Day gift is for the Valentine's events?
What?
Oh, please tell me.
He gives you a working gun.
Best servant!
And no, in the scene, he sneaks in while you're sleeping and is like, I hope you never have to use this, but it's all I can give you in exchange.
Holy
It's like, oh god. Kiritsugu, please, stop.
Well, and his bond CE, where the sun cannot reach.
Yeah, no, like, Fate does a good job of taking characters being like, you need a hug.
But yes, like, honestly, he would, like, especially when you actually read about him, he goes great with the happiness, I guess, of like, Naruto would be like, holy crap, you need to relax. You gotta cheer up, buddy. You remind me of Sasuke, but less backstabby.
Alright, so,
less stabby, more bang bang.
Underplayed Creations says, how does one write a fic where the protagonists are at a higher power than most of the setting?
Well, the problem is that the protagonists we're making aren't at a higher power than most of the setting. The Fate universe is actually really fucking busted. We're picking servants that should be at a roughly an equal level to the ones that we're picking. And to be fair, in the case of Ranma and Master Asia, we are slightly exaggerating their abilities to make this more fun.
Well, no, to be fair, Ranma, in the end of Ranma, did kill a god, an immortal god.
And Master Asia did legitimately punch Gundams to death.
So it's like, yeah, they're not like...
No, I'm aware.
Oh, fuck it! We're missing the most obvious one, guys! Jack Racken summons Ryder Alexander!
Oh my...
Yes.
Those
yes, okay, we're done with that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I feel like we pretty much hit the peak by picking Jack Racken, by the way. Like, he might be near the top of the list. I'm just like, so what are you known for? Oh, well, I willed myself back into reality because it was boring.
No, Max, he didn't will himself back into reality. He punched himself back into reality.
No, that was in Kichi. Jack Racken got bored of not existing and willed himself back into reality for another fight. You're confusing him with Zenkichi from Madoka Box, who punched himself in the face to get back into reality.
Yeah, that's right.
Jack went a step further. It's like, nah, I ain't done yet.
I'm bored of not being existing, so I'm going to re-exist myself.
Being a ghost is boring.
No,
back here,
no, it wasn't even he was a ghost. He was literally
erased from existence.
He was literally a hologram concept, and the guy who created the hologram was just like, all right, hologram off. And then Jack was like, well, I don't like not existing anymore, so I'm just gonna re-exist myself. It's like, excuse me, fucking what?
Can you do that? Can he do that?
Well, and the best part is, so Master, what is your wish? I already got my wish. I exist again.
I'm here for a good fight.
And then Alexander would just do the bro hag. Truly, you are my master. Wham!
Yeah. Pulling in like overpowered character, like for fighting games, obvious choices are things like Soul Bad Guy or Azrael from Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, respectively.
Yeah.
But like Azrael is interesting though, because like, so what's your wish, Master? I just want to fight a god. I ran out of them.
I ran out of gods to fight.
No, okay. So backstory: he gets locked away in a dimensional barrier, rips his bare hands out, and then allies with the villain, not because he's evil, but because the villain promises to grant his wish, and his wish is, can you make it so I can fight the gods of this universe? Is that what you want? Yeah, that's what I want.
The other thing, though, is
I'm your guy.
The reason why I like Jack Rackin as well is because he doesn't go out and just, like, raffle stomp people. He'll just fight at their level until he's seen everything they can do, and then he'll be like, okay, I'm gonna win the fight now. Don't feel bad.
And not just that, if he likes you enough, he'll even help you make your own unique moves.
I've literally created thousands of unique finishers. Like, excuse me.
Yeah, whether or not you're capable of doing them, he will make them for you.
And then he's like, all right, you see this? I made this for you. Get good enough.
Also, I can just do them all whenever I feel like, but that'd be boring.
I'm sorry. Now I can imagine. He goes into Ionian Hatairoi. Not bad, but we can do better. We can do better. Oh my god, Max, Sneaky. He goes into the Ionian Hatairoi and he makes a finisher for every single guy in the Ionian Hatairoi.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, well, apparently I'm not allowed to make reality marbles yet, but I can teach your guys their own unique finishers.
Gives everyone inside the Ionian Hatairoi the equivalent of a noble phantasm.
Well, I can't figure out these reality marble things yet, but you know what? Reality marbles are stupid. Ultimate moves, that's what you need. I feel the need to remind
you, there are theoretical heroic spirits in there that also come equipped with their own noble phantasms.
I am aware, but he's going to give all of them one.
Okay. But yeah, but back on topic though. So Underplayed Creation wants to know how to write a protagonist power fic.
Okay, so that's really, really, really hard. One of the only stories I've come across that does it well is obviously One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The trick with those stories is you have to make it so that the story happens around the main character. All the interesting fights and cool scenes are going to happen when they're not involved.
Right. Well, and not only that though, in the case of, like, say, Ranma and Mordred end up fighting Dados and Berserker. Respectively, they are all fairly powerful people in both servant-wise and universe-wise. Dados kills gods for shits and giggles.
And is one.
And Ranma, literally best martial artist ever, can dissect a move by just seeing it once and then replicate it. Also, he's actually a fairly pure individual. He's like he's the guy that could kill you on the outside, but he's a cinnamon bun on the inside. That's Ranma, but
whereas Kratos is a hard outer crusty shell with another crusty outer shell with a tiny not so crusty shell on the inside.
Just a bit.
And how you would end up writing stories involving all these characters is first off, you have to establish your genre, and your genre in this case is going to be best served to be parody and humor. Subgenres, action, adventure. It's not going to be a series you want to like get into the nitty gritty and take very seriously. It's going to be a majority of the draw of the series is going to be these various martial artists from their various series fighting servants and then fighting the masters of those servants. It's going to be very dialogue heavy in terms of where the humor is going to be derived from. In that you're not focusing so much on the power levels of everyone involved, but more their character aspects and how that either plays off or feeds into with their servant.
Yeah, I was just saying, but again, and Sneaky's right. For this particular fiction, that's what we would be doing. We would be going, this is
for character driven as opposed to fight or narrative driven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just say this is in fact a slice of life comedy disguised as an action show.
Now there's a fucking idea.
Yeah. By the way, underplay creation. Yes, that's exactly the point. It would mostly be about the jokes, but when appropriate, you will have serious like for instance, Hokage Naruto at the end of his journey is an excellent person to work with Assassin Emiya, because Assassin Emiya is the saddest, most depressed motherfucker who has basically given up because his ideal was to be a hero, and then when heroes showed up, all the heroes were assholes.
Indeed. And then he took the adage, kill your heroes, a little bit too seriously.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like he took it just seriously enough.
Well, no,
whether or not we're making
the adage puns. Is that the adage of kill your heroes, and I know you're okay, maybe I don't know, but you're not you know what the adage is and what it means, right?
It has been long enough that I only just barely remember that.
Basically, the adage of kill your heroes is you have to take the people you look up to and you have to take them off the pedestals that you've put them on. And you have to realize that they are not heroes. They are just people like you who have their own faults, who have their own dreams, who have their own goals, who have their own drives. And you have to kill this idolized version of that person.
It's not quite the same application, but whenever you have a lot of times when you have character growth in a love story, you'll have the female character or even just the love interest in general going, you aren't in love with me. You're in love with the idea of me.
Right, yes, yeah. That's a very classic line.
Yeah, well, yes, it's a very classic line because it's the whole idea behind it is you've seen someone and you've constructed this narrative about them and decided that they're perfect for you and you are meant to be with each other based on at best minimal surface knowledge. Usually not even that.
Well, it's not always even that. It's sometimes also an invested relationship in where they view all their interactions with their partner through that lens of their idealized version.
Yeah.
And the conflicts in those stories come from when the character acts like a normal human, which conflicts obviously with the ideal.
Yeah,
And then
like,
the
oh, my
other
girlfriend is
character gets
perfect.
super
She
angry.
can't do anything wrong. She never gets mad. She's always kind and helpful. And so then on the times when she has a bad day and she isn't kind and helpful, why are you being such a bitch? Why are you ruining our relationship?
Yeah. Cracky, but it gets serious at times is typically the best form of a cracked story, because it's sort of like a stand-up comedy show. A stand-up comedy show isn't just the guy standing there telling joke after joke after joke. He's telling a joke and then using that pacing or that theme or whatever he just talked about to lead into another subject, to then build up to another joke, and then he tells another joke, and then he gets into it. Each comedian has their own pattern. Sometimes they'll reference something they said like 30 minutes ago as like a we're going full circle sort of thing. And a cracky serious story is similar in that regard, in that it's a story that can buckle down and tell a narrative when it needs to tell a narrative, but otherwise it's using the interim between those moments where it actually has to sit there and be like, all right, now they're going to get into a fight, and all the characters are going to be very serious about this fight because that's what their personality is like, and that's what this world is like. And then they're going to have their fight. It's going to be a very serious fight. It's going to be a very maybe intense fight. And then it's going to lead back into jokes again, humor again, and then interlude again with some more seriousness to break up the pacing, to make it feel like it isn't just one constant stream of joke. Because when you do that, that's often better served for a one shot, because just constant stream of joke after joke after joke after joke after joke, it quickly tires out the reader. I don't know if either of you wanted to add anything on that one.
Not particularly.
No.
Also, like I said, another important thing to keep in mind as general advice for if you're writing the overpowered story, your main character needs to be interesting. Your overpowered character has to be interesting, but it's actually way more important to have a much stronger, more interesting supporting cast that you will slowly dole out information about, so that the readers keep going, okay, yeah, this dude who can beat anything with one punch is cool. But what's up with this robot dude? What's up with this old dude who beats people up? What's up with this psychic child?
Who are you, psychic homeless child?
Yes.
But that which again leads into why exactly we're picking these specific servants for each of these martial artists, and that Ranma and Saber, obviously Saber and Mordred, play off each other heavily. Dados and Berserker serve as Hercules serve as a sort of common ground in that they both came from the same sort of myths. Kratos used to be similar to what Berserker used to be, is now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I believe the literary trope from what this would be called is it's essentially through the looking glass.
Right, exactly. When you look back on the past.
Yeah, well, there's another thing that I kind of forgot. Hercules is Kratos' half brother in the God of War games.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
About that.
Fucking there we go.
I forgot about that.
Fucking there we go. Summon, brother.
Can you, brother? Well, no, and here's the thing, right? Because of the way that goes, the best possible thing would be Berserker gets summoned and immediately goes to brain Kratos.
Just like old times.
Look at the cutscenes, because I'm actually curious what their interactions are like. Because there seems to be, I think from what I read, it was just like, okay, look, bro, you don't You don't have to do this.
In a shield hero fic, do you think it would be better to focus on one of the main heroes completely and interlude with other perspectives from the other heroes or characters, or alternate in between all four? This comes into the point that I make very often when it comes to fanfiction. With published books, you actually get a lot more leniency in whose perspective you're coming off of, because a published book comes out in its entirety at the same time. And so when you spend 5k words here and there, switching the perspectives to tell someone else's story for a little bit, Chronicles of Drizzt is a great example of this. You, the reader, can read this and then get back into the main quote-unquote story, which is following Drizzt. Constantly hopping in between perspectives can be... I don't think I've ever seen it played well in a published series. Mostly because...
I would say, the only series I know that did it kind of okay was Wheel of Time. And Wheel of Time didn't start...
Wheel of Time more about the world itself than the characters in it?
No. Because what Wheel of Time did was, in the first book, it stuck largely with the guy who is the hero, Randall Thor. But it did spend time developing all of its characters, and initially most of the development came from Rand's view. But he started giving us chapters from other people's other they're not like, like secondary and tertiary protagonists.
Right.
Like people who are absolutely key to the story, they're just not Rand.
Right.
And by the time you get to books 5 and 6, we're just wholesale leaving Rand's perspective for multiple chapters at a time. And it switches around quite frequently, and sometimes it will go, here is okay, this thing is happening here, this thing is happening way the fuck over here, they're happening at the same time, here are some events to give you reference for when the paths cross.
Right.
And I don't get me wrong, Wheel of Time is a slow fucking burn. And it's such a slow burn that you see the author get better as a writer through the books.
But that is actually
But it's, like I said, it's one of the only book series I know of that successfully juggles multiple perspectives. But because by the time you get to the end of the books, there are truly speaking like 5 protagonists, because this dude's off over here, that dude's over there, that chick's here, that chick's here, that chick's here.
Right.
And they are all doing things that are important to stopping the big bad.
Right. As far as Shield Hero goes, though, personally, I would say focusing on the main hero of the story would be for the best. And I say that because I personally view it as sort of a D&D situation, in where the reader is sort of the DM. The reader and the writer are both the DM, I guess you would say, in this situation. Where instead of the entire party going down the corridor, the DM now has to go to one person and say, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm investigating the tavern." And then you have to sit there and be like, "Oh, okay, well, you looked through the tavern and you found a suspicious envelope wedged into the wood underneath the table. And then you open the envelope, and then you have to go run over to the next person and be like, okay, well, what are you doing?" "Oh, well, I'm investigating the sewers." "Okay, well, you look through the sewers." And then you run to the next person and like, "Okay, well, what are you doing?" And it gets very tedious. I guess tedious is the best word. Because if you want to have your audience build a connection and care about certain characters, say, for example, you're doing a sword hero story, you want your audience to obviously care about the sword hero because he is the focus of your story, the premise of your story, the divergence in your story. He is the key pivot character in your story. And so obviously you want your audience to enjoy when he's being shown in the story because he's going to be shown a lot in your story. And to get your audience to enjoy the character in the story, you first have to fight through any biases that people might have towards that character due to the canon story. But you also have to then build up the character to be a likable character to the audience. Not a likable character in the narrative, but a likable character in terms of readability. You want the audience to root for a cast. And it's a lot easier to make the audience care about what a cast is doing when you stick with that cast. It's doing interludes to let people know what the other casts are doing can be effective in a fan fiction. But the big but here, however, your update rate has to be fairly fast, all things considered. Or the update itself has to be short, all things considered. Because, say, if you update only once a month... Yeah?
A great example of you need the audience to root for your cast, probably the best written example of that is unquestionably Breaking Bad.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Or Dexter.
Yeah. Dexter and Breaking Bad. I would argue Breaking Bad more so.
Yeah, more so because Dexter is you get to justify him, but yeah, Breaking Bad definitely.
Because Breaking Bad never hides the fact that he is an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
He starts out with and one of the important things about the show is he starts out with a noble motive, and everybody can get behind it, and then, just like Walter White, you get sucked into the power trip.
Right.
That's one of the important things. You get pulled along on the power trip with Walter White.
Right, and you start to root for whatever he's doing, regardless of the ethics of
despite the fact that he is murdering people and no longer doing this even remotely for his family.
Right. And this is why it comes back to the update release rate. When it comes to fan fiction, there's a lot of expectations placed on dependent on the individual person. But I'm going to be the reasonable actor here in this hypothetical scenario. Not me specifically, but I'll be playing the neutral centrist. If I was reading a story that usually put out maybe, say, 4K words a month, maybe I find the idea interesting, or I really like your writing, or something like that. And then you suddenly start putting out, same one chapter a month still, but now it's a interlude, or now it's a focus shift arc where we move to a new cast of characters. I, the enlightened centrist, might not find that interesting anymore, because most readers I've found from both reading reviews, talking with people, and etc., come for a specific character, a specific pairing, a specific event occurring, or the idea that event could occur. And when you delay that, or when you start shifting away from that to start showing other things, they start losing interest. And it really comes down to, as I said, both your update rate, because again, if you update once a week with a 4K chapter and you decide to do one chapter of interlude a month, way less people are going to care because they're getting one chapter a week of a decent length, and all they have to do is read the second week's chapter, which is going to be the interlude chapter, and then they know next week's chapter is going to get right back on into what they're really concerned about. But if they have to wrap their minds around the fact they have to wait a whole month to get back to it, what they really want to see, or
especially because most interludes aren't finished.
Yeah, or if you want to do this is gonna be like a 5-chapter mini arc where we focus on someone else, then that person's gonna be like, they're doing part 2. Oh, okay. Oh, they're doing part 3. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just come back to this later, and then they forget about it. Maybe they'll see that the chapter update happens and they get an email for it, and they're like, oh, what's this story again? And then so they just continue ignoring it because they've forgotten your story by that point. As far as the point of divergence being all 4 heroes, so you need to describe all 4 heroes. I would do, again, I'm going to pull from my D&D DM histories with this, is that if it's truly important, a major character growth moment, I suppose you could justify focusing on a different hero than your designated main one, which is likely going to be the shield hero, because this is Rising of the Shield Hero. It's about the shield hero doing shield hero things.
Which, by the way, the longer I read Shield Hero, the more I got fucking tired of that man.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the same way. I loved the series. I loved the anime. The anime was so nicely done, but overall, the manga and the light novels itself, I just wasn't interested. It didn't keep my attention. It kept going, and I was like, oh, I'll read that, next time it updates. And then it updates, and I'm just like, oh, I'll read that next time it updates. And that's actually happened with Parcasius Fix for me. Is Parcasius, if you're unaware of him, is a very well paid Patreon fanfiction author who posts all of his stories to fanfiction.net as well. But you can go on Patreon and pay him to do something stupid, or pay him to etc. And Parcasius, back on topic, is he started off fine. He was a little bit prosy, but most of his stories they all start off fine. They all start off enjoyable. They're just the right pace to keep your interest, but also progress and advance plot. But then he started getting more money, and his stories started becoming more prosy. And then things started happening to lengthen the time required to cross the bridge, to continue on, keep going. And some chapters from Parcasius where sometimes the character takes one step forward and raises their sword, but it's 7K words of purple prose, of the wind today.
Here's the problem. He's paid by the chapter.
Yeah, exactly. And so he just fills it with prose, and everyone claps like a fucking seal. Go, oh man, Parcasius is so fucking amazing. You're amazing, Parcasius. Arf, arf, arf. But I mean, he does put out chapters quite frequently, but they're very purple prosy and get basically no plot progress done, which is actually in the end the real determinant of how many characters and how much main cast you can have is the plot progress. The plot progress is sort of like a loading bar, I guess you could say, is the best example. You always want your readers to see that loading bar going up to 100%. Even if in the background it's actually fucking not doing that at all, the readers need to think it is. You know? Just as the loading bars of real life lie to us, you need to lie to your readers and make it seem like the plot progress is always chugging along. Even when it's not. And the more characters you add into a story, the more time and screen time you have to spend describing those characters, giving them backstories, weaving the backstories into the narrative, having them interact with other people, plot and consequences from their actions. Etc. You gotta just keep going and going and going. And the more characters you keep on as directly plot important instead of just being part of the central party, because when it's just the central party, it doesn't matter how many... yes, it does matter how many characters, but as far as the narrative is concerned, it doesn't matter how many characters are going on here. They're all in one place. They're all doing one thing, and you are not on screen when you're splitting the party. You have to focus on one of the members when you split the party, and this is a problem I've seen in some Wormfix actually, where like Taylor will do a thing, and then the next chapter will be like Arms Master's reaction to the thing, and the next chapter of that will be the director's reaction to the thing, and the next chapter after that's like Glory Girl's reaction to the thing, and the next chapter after that's like, blank insert here's reaction to the thing, and then the next chapter is thing 2 happens, rinse and repeat the process. And it really dragged down how quickly you thought the plot was progressing. It really dragged down how interesting the story was, because even though the scenes themselves of, X person reacting to X thing occurring could be amusing in of themselves, if you keep doing that, then you're just going to lose. Because... let's see what else he say. He said, should I do a few chapters for each character and then move on to the next one and just keep that in rotation? Honestly, again, like I said, wrapping about to the original point again, is pick one person, keep with it. But if it's truly important that you mention something happening, like them killing the dragon or a village being freed or etc., come in and tell them. And then be like, main characters like, oh, what happened? Oh, from the reports we had, the spear hero freed this village from tyranny. And so you don't really need to show them doing other things. The key moments then would be to focus on one person, and then whenever the characters all meet up again, you can then use the contrast in what the character acts like now versus what they acted like previously, and if the contrast between the two is large enough, you can then point that out as a thing, like look how much blank has improved, sort of thing. I think that actually covers everything I could even say on all that.
Yeah. It's also 8:40.
Yes. See, this is what happens when you sit down and you like, well,
let's actually do some work and
let's earn that educational tab. I think we put some good hour and a half long work in on explaining writing and narrative and character development and character usage and screen time and fan fiction versus original fiction. I think we did a good job on all that. If anyone else disagrees, they can go hug a toaster while it's in a bath. Plugged in.
Violent.
Yeah, pretty much. So, we'll close out now. I'm actually kind of shocked that we have we've kept our viewer base this entire time. So
this is some of our most genuinely interesting stuff.
Yes, especially when the fan fiction we read was just utter boring trash. So, it is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. That time where I bid you adieu because we're late. So, we'll see you all next time on Tuesday at 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are no longer saving your daylight. Or maybe we are saving the daylight now. But that doesn't make too much sense, because when the daylight's being saved, it's called EDT. And if we just move from EDT to EST. So we're not saving daylight anymore.
I wish we could just do away with this system. It's starting to get really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But either way, we will be here on Tuesday, so should you, because there is always more, and it always gets worse.